Hi there. Today we're catching United from New York to Sydney. We'll be leaving from Newark Airport in New Jersey across to Los Angeles, stay a couple of hours, and then board a Dreamliner down to Sydney, Australia. That's the plan, at least. Anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already, and click like if you appreciate this content. But let's go and go halfway around the world from New York to Sydney. We're on a 787-10 today, but unfortunately the crew have not turned up, and so we're delayed from the get-go. Okay, we're seated in our seat now on our first leg of our journey from Newark, New Jersey to Los Angeles on our 787-10. We're in Economy Plus, so a little bit of extra legroom, a blanket, nice modern seats, aisle seat. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so the pilots never turned up. The flight eventually left like 5 or 6 hours later, but it was too late to make the connecting flight in LA down to Sydney. I would have been stranded in the airport overnight in LA. So I went home, missed a day of my vacation, and we're back at Newark. It's Saturday afternoon, and so there are not too many people at security, which is great. We get through security in no time at all. Unfortunately, with the change in flights, we're no longer on a 787-10 and we're on a 777. As we're on business class on the second leg, we actually get to use the Polaris lounge, which is nice. So let's sign in and take a little look around the Polaris lounge in Terminal C in Newark. It's pretty quiet here on a Saturday afternoon, but I'm sure it gets a lot busier than this. Let's check out the bathrooms. The views from the lounge look straight out on the apron, so you can see all the planes coming and going, and lots of action for AF geeks. It's nice to just settle down in a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and watch the action for a little while. In the Polaris Lounge, you have two different options of dining. You can either help yourself to the buffet, or you can have seated dining, where you choose from the menu and it's brought to you. Food looks quite delicious. We'll have a small snack here and probably have sit down when we get to LA. The chocolate chip cookies look pretty nice, and so do the baked apples. They look equally unhealthy. So a last look around, and then we're off on our flight on our 777 to LA. We've been enjoying ourselves in the lounge here for a couple of hours, and it's definitely got busier since we've been here. As I said before, we probably won't use the dining room here. We'll save that for LA before our long flight. I mean, door to door, this is a 24-hour trip, and so we have to eat somewhere. Last check of our flight time, and then we're off to the gate. So the Polaris lounge is quite empty, but the business class lounge is not accepting day passes. This is not our plane. It's leaving from a neighbouring gate. We're on a 777 today. At this point, the overhead baggage bin came open. Probably my fault, and not a big drama, but not properly secured before takeoff. Not much to see during takeoff if you're in the middle seat, but that's what we had to do because of our flight yesterday, so never mind. A few twists and turns coming out of Newark, which is normal. New York airspace is very crowded. Flight time is a little over 5 hours today, so the sun will set en route, and it'll be around 10:30 p.m. when we arrive in LA, which will be about 1:30 a.m. New York time. So we've arrived into LA and have about an hour and a half until our next flight. So we'll go to the Polaris Lounge and have a bite to eat. These are the Polaris seats, which we will have on our next flight down to Sydney. I had a little bit of trouble finding the Polaris Lounge. I should have known better. It's the old United First Class Lounge when they used to fly first class down to Sydney. I had a very nice flight a number of years ago in 1A on a jumbo. So it's the same lounge. We're going to skip the buffet and have a sit-down meal and a glass of wine. It's a small menu. Everything is free and quite a number of interesting choices. I think we're going to go with the poke bowl. It doesn't look like much, but it was absolutely delicious. Very well seasoned and very nice. I don't know how extravagant you can make a chocolate chip cookie, but this is about it, I think. Hot iron skillet and ice cream on top. As I mentioned previously, this is the old United First Class Lounge. Same location with good views over the apron if it was daylight. I did have a shower here, but I mistook my departure time for boarding time and had a bit of a rush to get out of there. So all aboard for the long leg, about 13 hours down to Sydney. We were eventually seated and a glass of champagne before takeoff, which is very nice. An uneventful takeoff, and then after an hour or so we fed a meal. A delicious meal? I don't think I can say that. It was actually pretty rubbish. The bed's comfortable enough and got a good few hours sleep. Actually, we crossed the date line, passed away, and just a few hours to go, about 5 hours down to Sydney. Coming into Sydney, the lights are dim. It's 4 a.m. local time, but everyone's wide awake because it's the middle of the day on the west coast of the US. About an hour and a half before landing, we get served breakfast. And I'm afraid this food is just absolutely garbage. Some sort of egg white foam, zero nutritional value, and just horrible. So all up, is it better to fly Polaris than Economy Plus? Yeah. Worth the money? No. Anyway, we're in Sydney. We connect directly to the train station from the Sydney Airport, and from there we can connect into the Sydney Metropolitan Network and go on to anywhere we like within the Sydney Greater Metropolitan Area. We'll take this train to Walleye Creek, and you see from the map that we can connect anywhere we like. So we'll be connecting to a train south to Sutherland and head down to the beaches of around Wollongong. It's June, so the middle of winter here in Australia. No snow, but still nice. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and hit like if you appreciate my content. It really helps me out. Thanks.